Everybody, welcome to one of the first ever wild card preview shows right here on Variety Sports Network. I'm Brandon. This is Dillon. We're going to talk about some Giants, Vikings, wild card weekend. Can Daniel Jones and the 9-7 Giants pull off what Eli Manning did? Or will Kirk Cousins finally show up in a primetime big game for the Vikings? Let's find out. Hey,
Hey,
I'm Brandon.
I'm Dylan.
We're here today, part of, I guess, it's still Variety Sports Network, even though hopefully we'll get this onto the Variety Sports Network football, because it's a football show, football preview show. It's wild card weekend, baby. Are you ready for this?
I am.
This should be a fun one.
These are my favorite. I mean, I love football and I love the regular season, obviously, because who doesn't? It's
Right.
football, for half the year. But I love not necessarily just wild card weekend. I mean, I know it's where it starts, but I love playoff football
Playoff football.
because it doesn't matter how bad you are, like the Giants. And we've seen Eli Manning them go
Up
from
and down.
9-7,
Yeah.
and win a Super Bowl against predominantly the best team, probably.
Ever.
Yeah, there's talks of they were going to be the best. I mean, no one's been undefeated and won a Super Bowl since like the '72 Dolphins.
Right.
And that Brady and the Patriots. I mean, they were like, I don't think any of their games were even close that year. So I mean, you got teams like that, and then you got teams like, for example, you could have a team like the Vikings that loses somebody like this, or
Yeah.
you have the Bills that lose in a coin flip. And like I said, I know it's not wild card weekend. I'm just saying
Right.
playoff football. That's my favorite because basically every game is close and everyone has a chance.
Everybody has a chance.
100%.
Everybody has a chance. So we're here today as part of the wild card weekend preview show series. Talk about the Giants and the Vikings and who we think is going to move on to divisional round and whatnot to take on who will they'll play Tampa Bay or Dallas, I believe. The winner of this game will. Maybe. I don't know. They're going to move. One of these teams is going to move on to the divisional round. But let's talk about it really quick. So these two teams have met once already this year. They met on Christmas Eve. I don't remember what week it was. Week 12, 11, 12.
December 24th.
Yeah, Christmas Eve. That's my birthday. You didn't know that, which I hope you do. Okay. Anyways, moving on from that sore subject. The last time these two teams met was on Christmas Eve with a 27-24 victory for the Minnesota Vikings on you said 63-yard field goal?
61.
61-yard field goal.
Yeah,
So not quite NFL record breaking, but it was there.
And from what I read, he had Greg Joseph, which is the kicker for the Vikings who won the game. He had never kicked for a kick he'd never made before in a game. He's never made a kick from that distance before.
Yeah.
That was his longest kick ever.
That's crazy. So this game is going to take place in Minnesota again, just like the Christmas Eve matchup between the two took place. But let's talk about something really quick. So there's some very big news out of Minnesota's camp, out of the Vikings camp. Center Garrett Bradbury, so their center, who has been out for a couple weeks now with I guess it was a back injury. He was a full participant today in practice, which is a huge thing for them because they've struggled with that center position over the last couple weeks. Harrison Smith was limited in practice today, but is expected to go. On the Giants side of things, nobody was listed as out, questionable, or doubtful for the New York Giants for is it Sunday's game? Sunday's matchup? Yeah, Sunday afternoon matchup between the Giants and the Vikings. Even though Evan Neal, the rookie right tackle, was limited in practice today. But we should still see each team with full squads going into this weekend's match. Last time they met, again, was a 27-24 Vikings win. Daniel Jones went, 30 for 42, 334 yards, one touchdown, one interception, and a rush for 34 yards as well. Saquon Barkley, 14 for 84, 1 touchdown. Richie James and Isaiah Hodgins, 8 catches, 90 yards for each. And Darius Slayton had 4 catches for 79 yards. On the Viking side, looking at Kirk Cousins, who went 34 for 48, 299 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2 of those to TJ Hawkinson, who went 13 receptions for 109 yards. Dalvin Cook was 14 rushes for 64 yards and no touchdowns. Believe it or not, no rushing touchdowns for the Vikings. And then Justin Jefferson went 12 for 133 and 1 touchdown. So looking at those stats, what's the keys for each team this week in this wildcard matchup?
I mean, for me, just personally, is you gotta think. This was a game that was won on a 61-yard field goal from a kicker who's never made a kick from that distance before. I'm not saying it's luck; these guys get paid to do that stuff. But putting your faith in a kicker, which the Vikings have not always had,
right?
Great kickers. We've seen, the Seattle. We've seen the Seattle kick where Blair Walsh. He just butchered everything. But I know what it feels like being a Bears fan. But
I was gonna say,
that's a lot of faith to have. That's a lot of faith to put in a guy, especially for 61 yards. I mean, that's
for sure.
That's not like something slight. That's not a slight little kick that you can go make. I mean, that was a big game, and that was a big game winner from a huge distance.
Yeah.
In my eyes, I think there's a couple key factors here. Just from looking basically even at the last stats is the two things for the Giants that I think have to be established right away. Well, I guess 3 things for the Giants is their defense has to play immaculate. I know that they gave up 2 touchdowns to Hawkinson and gave him 109 yards, and they gave 133 yards up to Justin Jefferson, but they still kept it a close game.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants defense has to play the exact same way. I know that they should probably lock down Jefferson a little more. I'm not really worried about Hawkinson. I mean, he's still a great tight end, but I'd be more worried about Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
Their defense has to be locked down again. They have to play the exact same way they played the first time or better. They have to.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
That Giants defense slips up at all. Kirk Cousins isn't the most he isn't the most successful quarterback, but don't second guess him for a moment. He is very talented, and with Justin Jefferson, I mean he'll make you pay bad.
Yeah.
2, Saquon Barkley had those 84 yards. Those 84 yards were crucial. They have to get him going. They basically rested all their starters. Basically, he has to be established from the get-go. I mean, they have to make an impact with him. Like the run game's not going to work. It has to work.
I would agree that they have to get him going from the very beginning.
From the very beginning,
up and moving and rolling from the start. And I think, like you said, that'll be a key factor for a Giants win.
Yes, they have to get him moved. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If their game plan on offense wants to work, it's gonna he has to be part of it.
Yeah,
and like a major part. Because Daniel Jones, I think, even though he is a very talented quarterback, I do not think that he is. I do not think that he is the guy that's going to go out there and win you a big time game like this.
Right.
I think he can contribute, and I think he can do his part, but he can't do it by himself. And the number one thing that I think the Giants have to do if they want to win against the Vikings is Daniel Jones. They have to get his feet involved. They have to get his feet involved because don't get me wrong. Like in this last game, you said he threw the ball 42 times for 334 yards.
Yep.
But man, he's killed a lot of teams.
Yep.
A lot of teams with his feet.
He's fast. He's fast too. He really is.
In my eyes, he's way more deadly with his feet than he is his arm. Although he can make you pay with his arm, but man, you go back and look at some of his games, he's killed a lot of teams using his feet, man. And for me, if you can get him and Barkley involved in the run game, it's especially if you can definitely get Daniel Jones involved. If he can use his feet and pick up those, those big time first downs, 8 yards here, 10 yards there, get mobile, it's going to create a lot of problems for the Vikings defense.
I agree. I agree. So I think on the Minnesota side, obviously so we had talked about like 8 to 10 minutes. The 10 minutes goes by quick. So on the Minnesota side, Kirk Cousins obviously has to have a big game. If Kirk Cousins is going to come out and put on that performance like he did against the Cowboys, where he's just awful, not very good at all, the Giants win this game easily.
Agreed.
Dalvin Cook has to get going. And then the defense for the Vikings, which has been pretty, I mean, for the most part, outside of one or two games, has been really, really good this year. Hopefully, it sounds like they're coming in healthy, ready to go and roar into play. So I think that'll be a key factor for the Vikings is Kirk Cousins' play and their defense and how engaged they're going to get Dalvin Cook into the game. So last time he wasn't so. I mean, he had still had.
He only had 64 yards.
Yeah, 64 yards. But for somebody like Dalvin Cook, who we know can put up those 150-yard games pretty easily, I feel like that should be a key factor for the Vikings going into this game, and that would lead to a Vikings win to move them on to the divisional round.
I agree. I think if Dalvin Cook would have been not, I mean, he had 14 carries last game, so I'm not going to say he wasn't involved. He just he didn't rush the ball to the best of his ability. 64 yards is 64 yards, but he's obviously a well-equipped running back who can obviously do better.
Yeah.
If he can get 100 yards this game, I don't think it'll be close.
No.
Because they basically beat the Giants with just the pass game.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they can actually get the run implemented and like it's successful,
yeah,
I think the Giants are in a lot of trouble.
The Vikings have a very, very scary offense if it gets going.
Yes, they do.
Very scary offense.
It's like a motor that just won't stop running. So.
Exactly. You got to see it twice this year. So, and then we just got to see it throughout different portions of the regular season. But what I'm excited for, obviously, is the Saquon Barkley versus Dalvin Cook game, and then Kirk Cousins versus Daniel Jones. Those four players right there are going to be key factors in this game on which team prevails. So what's your score prediction for this Vikings-Giants game?
This is honestly a hard one because if you look at it, there's actually I mean the Vikings coming in this game, are they 12-3? Or I'm sorry,
13-3.
Yeah, 13-3.
Yeah.
I mean there is a lot. There's actually a lot of people that have you would think being 13-4 that you would be the clear cut favorite, but they're not. There's a lot of people picking the Giants to come out of this first round. A lot of people. I mean, a lot of ESPN guys. I mean, I would say that I would even go as far to say as the Vikings are the underdogs.
Yeah.
And that's because we have a hard time watching Kirk Cousins perform in big time games. And I'm also going to be one of those guys. I think the 61-yard field goal not necessarily was a fluke, but if I had to put money on it again, I wouldn't bet on it.
Right.
If I had to guess, I think it'll be about the same. I think the score might be a little higher. I'm going to say that Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley both get going early. I'm going to both say that they both rush for over 50 yards easily on the ground. I think Daniel Jones makes some big plays with his feet, and that opens the pass game a little bit. I'm going to say the Giants defense steps up and makes some big plays, picks off Kirk Cousins at least once. I'm going to say the Giants win 30-27.
Oh, upset. Okay. Yeah. I like it. So I'm going to go the opposite just to spice things up a little bit. I'm going to say Vikings take this one. Kirk Cousins is going to come out and perform game of his lifetime, only to get smacked by the 49ers next week. Kirk Cousins comes out. He's going to come out and throw 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook a touchdown, T.J. Hockenson with the touchdown as well. So I'm going Vikings. I'm going to kind of make it a blowout, but I'm going to go 42-27 Vikings.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean,
high scoring game, but I could see it being a very, very possible thing.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. If Kirk Cousins can come out, I'll be happy for him if he can win because he has not been the most successful guy in big time games. So if he can come out and perform like that, then all the power to him because this is the team that if they can stay with the engine running, they could go far.
Yeah,
They could
I
go
agree.
far. So
I agree. Well, this is going to wrap it up for this section of this series of the NFL Wildcard Preview Show series by the Variety Sports Network and by Variety Sports Network Football. And we'll catch you next time. Be on the lookout for all of the other preview shows that are going to be coming to you soon. And then make sure you go follow us wherever, YouTube, Twitter, all those fun places.
Yeah.
All those fun places where you can get all the other sports shows. But ours is better because we're better. I'm not wrong. See you next time.